Welcome to the first episode of Game Mechanics Discussion. In this series, we talk about how certain mechanics work in popular games and how they could be recreated. If you enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to tell us what your thoughts are on the mechanic discussed in this video. Let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, it is Psycho or Sam here and welcome back to my channel guys, and today I'm very excited to bring you guys a brand new video series where we are going to be discussing some of the most popular game mechanics out there. In this episode we'll talk about parkour in games. We have seen many games taking its hit on parkour: Mirror's Edge, Brink, Dying Light, Assassin's Creed, Thief, and many others. All these games have had their different takes on parkour mechanics, but one thing that really stood up was the fact that parkour made these games to what they are today. I know that it might sound like the main point of these games was actually parkour, even though it was not. Mirror's Edge was an FPS action game. It would have worked without parkour too, but it would not be as good as it is right now if they didn't implement this system into the game. On top of that, Mirror's Edge was one of the first games to include parkour so well made. Thanks to parkour, Mirror's Edge became an incredibly fast-paced game, both the first game and its sequel Catalyst, or remake as they call it. Imagine that game without parkour. Would it be fun? Probably. But would it be as fun? No, because it would almost eliminate a big part of the game. One thing is interesting though, is the fact that parkour looks like it was 50% of Mirror's Edge, which it might have been at some point, but we must note that it would be a playable and a good game without its parkour mechanics too. An action-filled FPS game with a good storyline? That's a buy for me. But parkour opened up new areas for the game, such as the main focus of outdoor sceneries. A game taking place on rooftops of huge skyscrapers without much to do would be boring. And if you put Mirror's Edge indoors, 80% of the time it would not be that much fun or unique. Parkour also opened up a new area for Mirror's Edge: development of story. The main story of the game includes a network of people called runners who transmit information and messages while evading government surveillance. I know that parkour is pretty much built in for the current story of Mirror's Edge, but without it, it would have worked, although it would not be as unique as it is now. Thanks to the parkour system, they implemented something into the storyline that stood up. Characters that had something in common that was not really related to a death from their past, and were now grouped because of this unique talent that they had, which was parkour. Same thing goes for Dying Light. The game is an incredible FPS zombie game filled with action, but imagine it without its parkour mechanics. Not so appealing to me. Because of parkour, they had big, good-looking maps and levels represented in the game, where players are free to walk on street level but also rooftops, climbing cranes, and more. With no parkour in the game, it would be useless to have such beautiful sceneries and a big detailed map. Since it's a survival zombie game which is open world, looting is one of its core features. Parkour grabbed looting and took it to a completely new level. Running across the city in high speed, jumping over zombies, and climbing up on rooftops made the game ridiculously fun. It also opened new areas for the game, like free running exclusive executions that could be done on the zombies. A funny thing is how it's not very difficult to implement such parkour feature in a game. When looking at parkour mechanics, we need to break it down to its core. There are a few parts to it. For example, let's look at Mirror's Edge again. You can wall run, climb, vault, and a few other things like jumping over fences. An important thing is how these things are connected with another big part of the game: combat. You can wall run, jump onto someone's face, and kick them. That looks and feels awesome to do in game. What I'm hinting at is that if you implement a parkour system into your game, you're not forced to have it exclusive and independently. You can connect it to other features of your game. If you have a grapple hook in your game, you can implement parkour to make it much more fast-paced and connect these two. The connections don't need to be obvious blocks floating on the map that you will obviously hook onto, then run a few meters before wall running. You can let your players have fun with the system, and you can have the freedom of creativity, making your scenes much more dense, with more buildings, obstacles, and details. That also makes your scenes look more beautiful, since a scene that shows there has been time put into making it looks a lot better and gives off a better feeling than a scene which is quite empty with a couple of obstacles and a background. You can add parkour to implement a completely new mindset for not only your players but also your NPCs and the player's enemies. Your game can be built around the main storyline you have and the core gameplay features, but parkour can be an additional feature that will have its hit on everything else. The speed, pace, gameplay, level, and feeling of your game will change completely by implementing such mechanics. We'll take a step back for now and look at something I recently talked about, the split up parts. When you think of parkour mechanics in a game, it might look like a big system to implement where most of your player settings will either be overwritten or reworked, but you don't really need to do that. Wall running, climbing up ledges, vaulting, and increased movement speed are all features that can be implemented quite easily. However, the effect it will have on your game will be insane. Since most of my community uses Unity, I want to share with you that this could easily be done in Unity. If you're already using a player script and a controller you don't really want to edit, make a new script that will exclusively be for parkour. Check if your player is not grounded and colliding with a wall object, and you'll get going from there on wall running. If you're using rigid body for your player, then it makes everything easier since you have built-in gravity for player while wall running. Same thing goes for climbing. With an edge detector, you can easily climb up obstacles. We also talked about Grappling Hook. I'm developing a Grappling Hook asset that will be released for free soon enough on my website. Speaking of which, my website can be registered now. You'll find a link in the description below. You'll be able to use it on your commercial and private projects. It's mainly going to be focused on FPS games, but you can also edit the code. Since it's open source, you can edit the code and make it your own in some sort of way. However, guys, that's my take on parkour mechanics. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is parkour something that could be used in almost every single game? Because I think you can easily implement the parkour mechanics into your game just to enhance your gameplay mechanics, the feeling that your game gives off, because the vibe is very important for your player to receive. And obviously you want your game to get good reviews, so maybe you can use this sort of parkour system to actually give something that is unique to your game, but at the same time build your own and make sure that your own mindset actually implements into the game. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed this first episode of Game Mechanics. I really do. This is a brand new series, like I said. I'm obviously open to feedback, so if you have anything that you want to tell me, if I should include something in my videos, either it be visual or as a commentary part, let me know in the comment section below. It's very, very important for me to keep this communication with you guys, because I am making these videos because you guys are requesting them. But anyway guys, once again, I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know if you have any feedback, if you have anything to say in the comment section below, and let me know if you find parkour very fun in games, or if you perhaps find it boring for some reason, and let me know the reason as well, and discuss it with the community, because these videos are going to be open discussions, so just feel free to discuss them. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, because there's a lot of videos like this one coming up next. And I am also going to do some level designs. I know that I haven't made a few speed level designs on especially Unity for a while now, so I'm going to do that, don't worry. And yeah, subscribe if you want to stay up to tune, like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment what you think, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.